Hey everybody, this is Peter with Tabletop Gaming Guild, and today we're going to be taking a look at another book from Free League Publishing. They recently sent us a copy of their 2024 book, Dragonbane Path of Glory. It is their first hardcover campaign book for the Dragonbane game. It's a re-envisioning, a reprinting of the original campaign story for Drakak Dominar, their original Dragonbane book over in Sweden. And now that we've got Dragonbane, this new English version of the game, they've gone ahead and reprinted, revised, updated Path of Glory. It actually combines 3 adventures into one overall campaign. Looking forward to getting it down to the table. We're going to read off of the back of the book. I'll tell you what it says there about what's inside, and then we'll actually get into the book. We'll flip through it, take a look at some of the art, talk about what some of the adventure is about, but not getting too specific without getting into too many spoilers. And then I'll point out a couple of the sections that I think are super useful for the game master, and again showcases how Free League Publishing is one of the best RPG publishers out there today. And so let's go ahead and head down to the table and check out Dragonbane: Path of Glory. All right, everybody. So we're down to the table with Dragonbane Path of Glory. This is the first hardcover campaign book for Dragonbane from Free League Publishing. There is the paperback adventures book in the starter set that does have a continuous story that can be played as a campaign, and that is great for new characters. This adventure is not for your beginning characters, though. If they have played through the campaign in the starter set, then it is said that they'll probably be of a level for this campaign. If you want to, of course, make a new character, and then it does give you some extra roles it talks about that you can do to get your character to the level to play this adventure. But there is a little bit of tie-in to the one that's in the starter set as well, so you might want to start there if you're starting a brand new campaign. But if you've done that and you're looking for more, first hardcover campaign, Path of Glory. Let's go ahead and flip it over to the back and read what we're going to be getting into in the inside of this book. Coming to the legendary Dead Forest in search of treasure, glory, and a solution to the ancient curse laying waste to the forest, the adventurers soon find themselves embroiled in an epic conflict reaching back to the very foundations of the world. The quest will take the adventurers through the depths of the forest, under the mountain, and into a strange new land where the fate of the world will be determined. Path of Glory was the first major adventure campaign released for the original Swedish edition of Dragonbane RPG, Drakar och Demonar, in 3 installments during 1985 and 1986: The Dead Forest, Gates of Power, and Heart of Darkness. This new edition, reimagined and updated by Free League and the original author Roger Undhagen, collects the trilogy in a single volume. This full-color hardback edition has been given completely new illustrations by David Brazgala and a new cover art by Johan Egerkens. The rules are fully updated to the latest edition of Dragonbane, and the book includes a large double-sided map painted by Francesca Berald. So hopefully I did at least a decent job with pronouncing some of those names. Johan and David are both fantastic artists. The map in here from Francesca is also fabulous. But let's go ahead and flip it over. And we're going to open up the book to the end pages so we can see some of this map work. So on the front end pages, we get a map here that shows here the Dead Forest in the center and some of the locales that are going to be taking place in the earlier portion of the game. And then if we flip over to the back, we find a loose map that we can take out here and utilize at the table with our players. But now we also see on the back end pages a map of the eastern lands that happen to take where the third half, the latter portion of the adventure takes place. And then, real quickly, we'll open it up here. The map, which is, again, a good-sized map that we can lay out here for our players. You can see here, so this is the same map. This is the eastern lands as indicated down here at the bottom of the map. And then if we flip it over, we get the front end page map, the Dead Forest. So, and to compare it, this right here is about the size, well, probably about like this. This right here is about the size of the end pages. So we're getting double that when we get fold out this map. We get about double the size of a map to put in front of your players. So a really, really good piece of art. And then if you know what's coming up in the book or in the adventure, you will see some of these creatures or characters showing up on the maps themselves, which is also just a really, really nice touch. I'll go ahead and kind of see if I can get it to zoom in here. Right there in the Dead Forest, we see the two minotaurs that are on the cover of the book. There we go. Same two guys. So it's really nice work by the artists to go ahead and incorporate some of the character art from the book into the map itself. So just, it's pretty exciting. I really love the map. I think they did a great job putting that together. And I always love that their maps are at the back of the book and they're loose. They're not stitched in. They're not perforated into a page where I've got to tear them out and feel like I might damage the book itself. They're just ready to lay out. They're always done on high quality paper. Those maps are going to last a really long time and they're going to look really, really great. You could even frame those. They're beautiful works of art, and you could put them framed and show them to your players, however you want to do it. But really great maps. Love this cover here with Grim and Grum, the Minotaurs, who we're going to talk about possibly here in a little bit. But let's go ahead and get into the rest of the book. We have our title page. And then we have our table of contents. So like the back of the book said, this adventure, this campaign is broken into 3 parts. And so we've got the Dead Forest is chapter 1, chapter 2 is Gates of Power, and chapter 3 is Heart of Darkness. Each chapter is broken down really nicely for the GM who's going to be running the adventure. You get a nice opening bit that kind of gives you the where you're at currently, where your players are currently, and what's going on in that area, who are the major players. And then it gets into journeys that are going to be happening, and then it's got locations throughout that area or that region where the players are going to be playing and what's going on there. And each chapter will finish then also with a conclusion to kind of help you wrap up that portion of the adventure. The forward here, we get a nice forward from the original author of the 3 adventures, who has helped Free League bring these adventures to the hardcover today. And so that's really cool that they've got the original author still involved. And then we get into our introduction. Now, this book is for game masters only. It is an adventure. There's nothing in here specifically for the players. There's no new playable kin. So there's nothing in here that they're going to need in order to create their characters that they're using to play in this adventure. So this is specifically for game masters only. The opening chapter does a really great job of giving you the history of what's going on and the major players in this adventure. And then they get into an overview of the 3 adventures themselves. And the overview is very short, but I always appreciate that they give you that overview so that you can go ahead and understand what each segment of the adventure are about. And then they give you a really good section here about the 3 major powers, the 3 major players in the adventure. This is probably, for me, one of my favorite introductions for a larger campaign that I've ever read, and that is because it's succinct, but it gives me enough information that I feel like I actually understand who the players are and what's going on and why my adventurers are here. And they keep it to a very short word count. The introduction itself is only the first 9 pages of the book, not even full 9 pages because it starts on page 4. So it's 5 pages or so of just the introduction and the history of the adventure. And they give you just the information that you need for that. Nothing flourishing, nothing else that you really need to know. Just the stuff that you need to know for the adventure itself, which is great. They did a really nice job getting that done. And again, this area right here, this little box text over the overview called experience, is where it will explain if you are going to be starting this campaign with brand new characters, what you can do to kind of air quotes level up your character so they are prepared and can hopefully survive this adventure. But again, they also state here that if you've already played the Secret of the Dragon Emperor campaign, which is in the starter set, that your character should be good to go. I like that they give you that the additional information, because I know some people will just want to create new characters though too. So, and that is the introduction to the book itself, to the campaign itself. The overview, really summed up, is we've got a demon that died thousands of years ago, and their heart is still in existence, and the fact that that heart is still in existence makes the curse on this land happen. And so your players, you're going to be trying to hopefully find it, destroy it, and stop the demon from reconstituting and entering the world yet again. So you've got the demon, you've got the dragons that are also taking part in the adventure, and you have a necromancer who is here with a bunch of undead and laying waste to a portion of the world. So that's just a very generic overview. Now, I do find it a little interesting, and let's say this, because Dragonbane is so often mentioned as a game where your players are really in it for the glory and for the loot. The glory and the loot. But here, they are possibly becoming heroes. And so we definitely lean back into the fantasy of not just having loot happy characters, but we have characters who want to hopefully see the world in a better place than where it starts, which I'm all about. My fantasy games are all about the characters being heroes almost every single time. We're not going to get into the nitty-gritty of each of the chapters here, because I don't want to give away too much to anybody who's going to play in this campaign. And if you're a game master, you're going to discover all this on your own as you read the book itself. But something that I really did want to show real quick, so this is going to be a spoiler. If you were going to play in this game, please quit watching this video. If you are going to be a player, not a game master, stop watching the video right now, because I do want to show the GMs just something that I really love that Free League did here in this very first portion of the adventure that I really, really love. All right, you've been given the warning. If you're still watching and you're a player, it's on you. All right, so very first part of the book is kind of open-ended, and there's a lot of different locations that your players can travel to, and there's a lot of different players. There's a lot of characters who know things. Some know them, some don't. And so that could be, as a game master, something that can be hard to track. And so normally I would sit down and I would want to like make a little cheat sheet for myself of who the players are, where they are in the world, what they know. That cheat sheet has already been made for me. If and when I run this adventure, I don't have to make it. It's right here. It's in this little section that says who knows what. And it lists a question. And then next to it, it's the answer. And next to that, it's who knows that answer and where they are. And that makes me super happy. It's again, and it even points you to the pages in the book where that character is. So you can read more about it if you want to. So that right there, if that doesn't show you the level of focus that Free League brings to their creation of their campaigns, I don't know what else will. They do a great job of laying things out for a game master who knows that they're about to read like over 100 pages worth of information in order to run the campaign. They're doing what they can to help make your job that much easier. There is a level of care that Free League shows that not everybody else out there does show. I mean, some people definitely do. There's really great adventures out there. But this right here just really stood out to me as a we love our game masters moment. Great job, Free League. Again, question, answer, and who knows and where they are. Fantastic. So again, The book is filled with some fantastic art. It's got all the information that you need in order to run it. They have fantastic maps for you in the book. And again, here's another thing that they do for you. You can get maps on their website. You can download them digitally and then print them out for your table. And it's not extra cost. There's no extra cost. You just go pick them up. They're on the website. Free League, you knock my socks off. Now, I will say this one thing, and then again, this map you can show your players. Inside each of the chapters, there is a separate map of the location. It looks at first like it's the exact same map. It's not. There are locales. There are names and locales of different places. This is the GM's version of the map, and they have that again for each of the other maps as well. So if your players do look at the book first and they see this, no worries, that's okay, it'll be fine. But you don't want them to be seeing the GM's version of the map. And again, that loose map at the back of the book, it is a player's version, not a GM's version. But great layout for the entire book. It reads super well, and it's filled, again, with tons of great maps, beautiful artwork for the characters and the creatures that your players are going to be going up against. I can't say enough good things, and I've read through this, and it is an exciting adventure. It is a lot of fun to read through this adventure, to get ready for it. Sometimes I have found adventures that it feels like I have to read through it and then I have to read through it again and again, and I'm kind of slogging my way through how am I going to make this happen at the table. Parts of it sound really cool, but other parts I'm not so sure. This is really good. Now, you will see that there are some pieces of art that are definitely reused. So this skeleton here, total reused from the Bestiary book. Same thing we saw a second ago. I don't know where it went. There was the centaur. They will, and that's, I don't have a problem with that. In a campaign book or an adventure book, not every piece of art needs to be brand new art. If you've got great art, reuse it if it fits the right situation, right? So I'm cool with that. But there are some pieces of art that are reused in this book from other books, but there's also tons and tons of brand new stuff. And then you also get some new creatures that aren't in the bestiary or the original rule book or anything. One example here is this brandy dragon, which, just like in the bestiary, if you have watched that video that we've done or any other videos reviewing it, you get a little bit of lore for the creature, and then you get the D6 chart for rolling their monster attacks. Attacking in Dragonbane, super simple, especially for the GM. You just get a D6 chart, roll the D6, or choose your favorite attack, and that's what happens. But each attack also comes with a nice teeny little bit of narrative flourish. Fantastic. So that's pretty much everything that I want to get into. I gave you just again, you've got a demon that was there thousands of years ago that air quotes died. Heart is still around. Somebody has that heart. You're going to be diving. You're going to be going from a dead forest into the heart of a dwarven fortress to then the eastern lands on the other side of the mountains that bisect the dead forest from the eastern lands where the dwarven fortress is. And there's a lot of journeying that's going on there. There's just so much really cool adventure. Dragons are going to be showing up, which is always huge. Tons of undead throughout the adventure as well. And so I feel like it does a great job of hitting a lot of the really good high points for a fantasy campaign, which just makes me really happy. And to see that Dragonbane is getting this love, and the fact that, again, this is not a brand new adventure. It's been around for decades. It's just getting updated. It's being brought to the masses today now that Dragonbane is here in the US in an English version. And so the fact that Free League decided to update it and get it back to the table makes me super happy. I think they did a great job in organizing the book, in structuring the adventure. Again, super easy to read, which is nice. And again, nice lightweight book. Even though it's fairly decent size, it's lightweight. I can hold it and read it. So let's go ahead. Let's come back up from the table, and I will go ahead and give you my final thoughts if you haven't already guessed on the Path of Glory. Let's go ahead and come back up. All right, everybody, so we're back up from the table. We've just taken a look at Dragonbane Path of Glory, and as you could tell from our flip through, I am super excited by this book. I love that Free League has decided to revisit and revise, update this campaign, and it makes me super excited to look forward to other campaigns that they're planning to put out. Whether let's say this, I'd be really excited to see Free League Publishing put out more smaller one-shots for Dragonbane, whether they just be PDFs, right, instead of hardcover books. I'd love to see some cheap PDFs available for adventures, maybe $10 or $15 for an adventure. I think that would be a great idea for Dragonbane continuing on. And I would also love to see something like this, but done as a box set. So the box set for Dragonbane is phenomenal. If you want to get started with the game, everything you need is right there in the box set for Dragonbane. And I think if they would do something along those lines for their campaigns, where in the box set you get, they have these really nice thick cardboard standees for a lot of the characters in the starter set, for the monsters. And I think something more along those lines. I would buy a whole slew of starter sets, not just starter sets, but a whole slew of boxed campaign adventures for Dragonbane. I like the books, but I really, really like the way that Free League does their box sets. And I think if they would put those out where the adventure itself is maybe in paperback, and then even this, where it's 3, they could have done 3 individual paperbacks, probably like it might have been done back in the day. And then the cardboard standees for all of the monsters and the maps that I can fold out. That would be really cool. But besides that, that's just like pie in the sky dream for me specifically. I really like this book. I like the adventure that is inside. It's intriguing. It's engaging. It's an easy read. It's beautifully laid out. Again, I love that they put their maps loose in the back, so I don't feel like I'm tearing the book apart by taking the map out. That's just a personal preference, and they put it. And again, I think I mentioned this earlier. I am a little bit, I'm not old, I'm getting older though, and I love a lightweight hardcover book. So the style of whatever paper it is that they use here to make the book lighter weight is fantastic. It makes it easy for me to carry it around. It makes it easy for me to hold it in my hands and read it. So that is my preferred style and weight of book. So all that to say, Free League Publishing, you're knocking it out of the park with Dragonbane. The art is gorgeous. The layout is great. The campaign, the adventure is top notch. And I can't wait to get my friends together and run it to see how they interact with everything that is in this book. So if you like this video, give it a like, maybe subscribe. Hopefully it helped you decide if Dragonbane Path of Glory is for you to pick up and to put it down in front of your players. And head over to freeleaguepublishing.com to always check out all of their amazing titles, the games that they are putting out constantly. They're great, everybody. So also you can head over to tabletopgamingguild.com, learn a little bit more about us. And everybody, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. And until we talk again, keep on playing games.